Hey folks, this is Vint with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out Vintage Story. You can buy this on the official website for about 22 US dollars or so. I don't know what that converts to in euros, but anyway, this is a game I've been looking at for a while, and I was kind of intimidated by it based on what I've seen, and I kind of held off, and I finally took the plunge, because, I'm a casual kind of gamer, and I enjoy Minecraft to a degree. I've never beaten it, but I enjoy the survival aspect of Minecraft, not so much the creative stuff. But this game is like geared more toward the survival. So I'm like, well, I'm probably going to like it. And I bought the game yesterday and I've played it for about 8 hours. Yeah, I didn't take a break. Well, I did take breaks, obviously, but I didn't take a break to play any other game. Like, I was hooked on it. And I will warn you, though, it is pretty challenging. Now, before I get into the gameplay and stuff, I have to stress that there are a number of different ways to customize your game before you start playing. There's like 5 different tabs, like there's presets, but then you can change between 5 different tabs a number of things, some of which I didn't know what they were. There's this temporal stuff that I haven't seen yet in my 8 hours of playing. But yeah, there's all sorts of cool things. I did tone it down a bit because as a solo player learning the game for the first time, the hunger requirements and all that, I did tone that down a bit. But yeah, after you choose the difficulty settings and customize them the way you like it, you're going to choose a character. Like, you can change your skin color, your voice. It's got that "Don't Starve" voice where they're constantly like whining at you. It's like a musical instrument whining at you. And like when you take a hit in this game, it's the same thing. So this game has that. There's also a couple of different classes that you can pick. Commoner is like no benefits or weaknesses, but then you've got like 4 or 5 other ones that do have like positive things and negative things. I chose the Hunter, thinking that, I like archers and bow and arrow classes and RPG. So I'm like, well, I'll try the Hunter and see how good I do. And I suck at it. I suck at hunting, but still, it's an interesting experience. And as soon as I jumped into the world, I'm like, okay, this feels like Minecraft, but it's a beefier version of it. And I immediately noticed my health bar on the bottom, my food bar as well in yellow. And then I saw this rotating gear. I have no idea what that is yet. I haven't gotten there, but yeah, so just keep in mind this review is not a complete one. It's going to take me several hundred hours, I think, to really see everything. But anyway, I love that there's an interactive map and you can toggle on a mini map as well. The map, you can set waypoints and the like, which is great. You can name the waypoints, you can choose an icon, color code them, all that. And there's even an in-game encyclopedia, so you can look a lot of different things up. My only complaint with it is it's difficult to know what to do next sometimes. Like, I don't know to look for it until I ask myself, well, what should I be doing next? And, oh, maybe let's try this. And as soon as I think of it, that's when I look it up. So there's no, there is a progression area of this guide, but it's not 100% complete. I had to alt-tab several times and look things up. Now, I'm just going to tell you my story on my experience with this game so far, and hopefully that clues you in as to what you're in for. First thing I did, I wandered around the environment and I picked up a crap ton of these cattails because I wanted storage. I was filling up really quick, and I saw that in order for me to make a reed chest, I need a crap ton of these cattails. I tried to punch them, but it didn't do anything, so I had to create a flint knife. So I had to find these flint things along the ground. There's pickups, and I picked up some flint, and then I learned to create a knife, and you'll see how that process worked later. So I just went around for the first day or two, just finding every cattail that I could find so that I could create baskets for my inventory. Like, you can extend your inventory with baskets, but you can also use those cattails to create reed chests for whatever base you decide to set up. And my first base was this dinky, I don't know, 3x4, just a little shack. It was a shack. It was a crap hole. But yeah, I used dirt, compacted dirt. I realized that if I regular dirt was okay, but I'm like, is there a stronger version of dirt? So I combined regular low fertility soil and made this compact dirt, and that's what I'm using for my base right now. I'm sure there's better stuff, but I don't know what I'm doing. So, and what's cool is that the soil in this game has fertility. So certain plants will grow better in certain environments, and if you can find better soil, you can bring that to your base and use that instead. I was like in Don't Starve, another video game. I went around finding all the berry bushes and plucking them up and putting them next to my base, and I don't need fertilizer or anything. It just seems like they will grow back over time and start producing again. I think they haven't done so yet, but I'm hopeful. So I have about like I want to say 40 of those berry bushes lined up near my base, so that hopefully they start producing again and I won't have to go far. But there are seasons. That is something you can turn off. And there's a setting called True Winter. I do have it turned on because I do want a little bit of a challenge that way, like in Don't Starve. But in winter, like the animals have less meat on their bones because they're starving, and it's harder to find food, and cold is a real threat. So I do have that toggled on. So like I know winter is coming, and I'm trying like heck to figure it out. And for the first night, I didn't even know how to start a fire. Like I didn't know how that worked. So for the first night, I sat there in the dark in my little shack, just sitting there. And then by day 2, I learned, okay, this is how you make a torch. But torches go out. They go out in this game. So like 48 hours later, you have to just destroy it and craft a new one. And then I realized I could make this fire. I had a fire starter. That's one of the tools that I wasn't used to seeing in a game like Minecraft. But I could use a fire starter to start a fire, and I could start my torches that way. And then, a lot of trial and error. Let's just say a lot of trial and error. I was trying to figure out how to create a freaking campfire. You had to put the grass down first, and then 4 pieces of firewood. Which, by the way, you cut up in your little 3x3 crafting window. Take a regular wood, put an axe on top of it, and then hit the button, and yeah, you've got firewood. So yeah, I second, third day, I crafted torches. I crafted a campfire. Didn't know what I was gonna do with it yet. I'm like, do I need to craft a separate food like holder for this? Like, can I just cook meat right on it, or do I need to make a little install a little like pole to put above it to like rotate meat or whatever? I don't know. So it turns out no, you can just throw meat on it and it'll just appear and cook automatically, which is great. But yeah, I didn't get meat until like I want to say day 5 or 6. I avoided all of the animals in this game because I didn't know which ones were hostile, which ones weren't. I left the settings like on aggressive, so that they will attack you just out of the blue. Wolves and elk. Anyway, napping, I believe it's called. So instead of just making a tool, first you have to craft the headpiece for it. When you look at the ground and you use your flint on the ground, you can choose what tool to make, whether it be a flint head, an axe head, shovel head, different things like that. And then when you make it, you combine it with a stick, and that's your tool. And then I realized, hey, I got this clay that I dug up with my shovel. I was making pots with that. I was making all sorts of cool things. I was making molds. I'm not sure what I would use them for. They look like tool molds, but I eventually learned that, you start with flint tools by napping them on the ground, and then your next goal is copper. But to get to copper, you need clay crap. And clay was a whole thing to learn, let me tell you. Like, clay was the next step for me, and it was a meticulous, just the art of holding a mouse button and trying to like stay within the lines, or just to like trace the green lines there to make just a single pot. It's not just put the items in your inventory and click a button. No, you have to make this pot one layer at a time. So it took me like a couple of minutes when I was making my first pot. And I'm like, okay, I made it. Now can I put things in it? It turns out, no, it's not a finished product yet. I'm like, really? Like, I still have another step in this process. I was looking it up in the in-game guide. You have to put them in a hole in the ground and then put a fire pit on top of it, and then wait 24 hours. So that whole process, like that was a thing in itself. I was like, am I doing this right? I don't know. So I just dug a one piece of hole in the ground. I read up on the whole pit kiln thing, and that's just you put a grass in there, like dry grass, and then you put sticks, and then you put firewood right on top, and then you light that on fire. And if you've done it right, it'll just kind of sit there and burn for a while. However, I made the mistake of that fire. There is a fire hazard. The surrounding grass caught fire when I initially lit it, and that was a fun thing. I had to cut all the grass around it and hope the fire went out on its own, which it did. But then I started playing around with molds, like actual like clay molds of tools. And while that was baking, I guess, I decided to pan for resources like copper and other things. Like you can take sand, sit in the water, and sift it in order to get things. Now you can find copper bits on the ground as well, but you can also pan with that tool in order to get stuff as well. And then I needed charcoal. I read up on it. Charcoal burns hotter than firewood. And before you can even make, like when you go to make your copper, you have to use charcoal instead of wood because wood doesn't burn hot enough. So I'm like, how do I make charcoal? So charcoal is a whole other thing. I'm like, well, I want to play the game, and here I am. Like I spent half the time in the freaking guide trying to figure out what I was supposed to do. I'm sure it would be better to have someone that knows this game teach you as you're playing, but like here I am on my own solo, trying just to muddle my way through. I eventually like figured out I can put a cooking pot that I molded out of clay onto like a little campfire thing and a fire pit, and I can cook things. But it's picky. It needs like the first 2 slots needs meat, and then the next slots need like a vegetable or something, or a grain, I think. But yeah, there's a lot of different foods you can craft, and I eventually learned that I can light fires with my torches, so I didn't have to use my fire starter anymore. I was using my fire starter for like everything. But yeah, you can use lit torches just to light things, which again I didn't know. But eventually, yeah, and I'm like, okay, so this food will spoil in like 3 or 4 days now that I have it. That's fine for now, but what do I do in the winter when I can't find half this stuff? So I started like researching, how to store food. Now I was also trying my hand at fishing, and I deep water fish I gave up on. Every time I kill a deep water fish, it sinks to the bottom and I can't see it. I don't know if torches, I don't think torches work underwater. I didn't try it. But every time I kill a stupid fish, it sinks right to the bottom and I can't see it. So I gave up on fishing in deep water, and instead I stuck to shallow water fish. And that seems to work for my meat needs anyway. And then I came across a trader as I was exploring. He's in this giant cart, and you need gears, I guess, which I don't have yet, in order to buy certain things from him. And there's this whole other thing. I don't want to spoil it because I did a little bit of research, but I don't know too much about it. There's this like other world that will spawn from time to time. It's like the Nether from Minecraft, but it's more like steampunk and gears and all that. Anyway, so yeah, there's a whole nother world. So getting gears from there is one of the currencies that you'll find. So yeah, I didn't actually get to explore that yet, and I'm sure I will report back on that later. But yeah, my charcoal was done, so charcoal, by the way, you put a whole bunch of firewood on the bottom layer, cover it up with dirt, except for one spot, but you put a fire pit in that spot, and then you light that on fire. Cover up the fire pit so that there's no air escaping whatsoever. And if you've done it right, it's like 24 hours later, you've got some charcoal. And again, charcoal is needed for the blacksmithing part of this because the firewood doesn't burn hot enough. Yeah, this game, like by now in Minecraft, I would have had like everything. But yeah. And as far as storing stuff, I don't know if I'm doing it right, but I just dug one hole in the ground. I covered it up with dirt. Sunlight seems to affect the time it takes for something to spoil. Now, maybe if I dig deeper, maybe the ground is cooler. I don't know. I was going to try building a huge basement at some point and putting stuff down there to see if that would preserve the food for a longer period of time. And then I went back to blacksmithing again, and I realized I can't pick up hot. I put a cauldron on a fire pit, put the little copper bits in there, waited a while, and if it cools off, you can heat it back up again in the same fire pit. But you need tongs in order to hold hot stuff. and there's an offhand for that. So I learned that the hard way. I burned my hand at least a dozen times. And yeah, and then you use the molten copper that you have, and you pour it into the molds that you've made out of clay. So, and again, that's just half of the tool though. Like, that's just the head piece. You still need sticks in order to craft the whole thing. So, and I just realized, like, as I was pouring, it says on the top, like, I need 100 units of molten copper to make this. I only have 50. Crap. Now I gotta hurry up and make more copper to finish off the headpiece or whatever it is I'm making. So, like, I'm constantly screwing up and learning as I'm playing this. And it's both a frustrating experience, but it's also a fun one. Like, the fact that I haven't rage quit yet is a good sign, because the older I get, the less patience I have, you know? So, in addition to that, the world is open. It's fun just to watch the clouds go, and there's actual, like, rain and weather, and the sounds are amazing. I love the sounds in this game. And, like, the rain doesn't affect the entire environment. It's just the clouds will rain down, and if you walk out of the cloud cover, you won't get rained on. So little things like that really make the game, I don't know, just more immersive, and I really like that. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm on day 9 or 10, and I have the monster set to spawn at day 10 at night. So we'll see what happens when I get there. Maybe, you know, maybe I may have to go back and change the difficulty again, because that might be too hard. I don't know. But I'm currently, like, stockpiling a crap ton of firewood for winter. I don't know if I'm going overboard with it or if I don't have enough. Firewood burns out very, 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 very quickly. So I'm trying to save as much as possible for the winter. But yeah, I'm currently on day 10. I'm having fun with it so far, but a lot of it is, like, me looking up something, trying to figure out, like, I was trying to figure out how to do something, like make a bucket and barrels, because I need that to get my leather made. There's a 4-step process to leather, one of which involves barrels. And I don't have a barrel, and I need this to make this, and then, but in order for me to make that, I have to make this first. So there's A leads to B, leads to C, leads to D, leads to E, leads to F. And when I get overwhelmed, I kind of walk away from it, and then I come back to it later. Because, like, there is a lot of steps. The learning curve is high. It really is high. But it's also satisfying in a way when you do get it. I personally will be making some kind of, like, Word document guide for myself, so that I don't have to keep looking everything up the next time I come back to this, you know? Because there's a lot of things to remember. So, but I'm enjoying it. For the $20 I spent, I'm already in it for 8 hours on my first playthrough. So on a time played compared to cost basis, yeah, I got my money's worth, and I will be playing this for a lot longer. So I do not regret my purchase. This is Minecraft 2.0 still, in my opinion. This is what Minecraft without mods has the capacity to be, I think. And yeah, I do recommend it. Now, multiplayer, I couldn't tell you. There's IP address joining and stuff, but we haven't tested it. I only have the 1 copy so far. Maybe if I get multiplayer running in the future, I'll report back on that. Well, this is Vince. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you all next time. Take care.